Yes, here we are back again on a Sunday in April. How are you, darkest one?
Oh, darkest one. Oh, you like my
Yes,
you like my hoodie and the lighting.
yes,
I kind of feel like Palpatine right now.
absolutely. You have fallen to the dark side. You used to be one of the good ones. I cannot do the show with you anymore. I am bowing out, Grace.
Okay, well, I guess I've taken over the show, just like Palpatine has taken over the Galactic Empire. And
Okay, hold on. No. I was
no.
joking. I was joking. You're taking it way too far. But Joe, here we are again. Another week, another you're about to pass out from exhaustion.
I am.
Your
I'm
Shelby's
tired.
about to call 911.
Hopefully not. Yeah, I mean, we haven't had too many shows in the last month because we had a break for Easter, then
Yep.
we had a show, and then we had another break for you being away.
Yep.
And now
Yep.
now we're back here. First show in 2 weeks, and we missed the week before that. So I'm ready to go. I'm
I'm
excited.
ready to rock and roll. I am absolutely ready to rock and roll. We got a great show for you all tonight. Chock full of the goodness you expect, and you're not even gonna have to pay any extra. Is that right, Joe? We didn't charge extra for this one, did we?
It's a delayed fee. You'll be billed 6 months from now.
So
But
it'll feel like it's not extra, but we're just gonna get right
yeah,
into it with some local news. How about that? Some news that should
yeah,
excite some people in the area.
yes.
Joseph, let's talk. You are the EIC, the editor in chief of the Comic Book Canon News. So we're gonna get right into it with something that's near and dear and close to your heart. What is it?
Yeah, so for those of you who've been following me for any amount of time, you probably know that I host a comic community gathering / comic sale at my house a couple times a year. And it is on again this coming weekend, 1 week from yesterday, Saturday, April 27th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., Back Deck Comic Fest at my house, Glenside, Pennsylvania. I am just north of Philadelphia. Certainly easy driving distance for anyone in southeastern PA, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, and New York. Even we've got people that come from out of state. And like I said, it is not just a comic book sale that I have at my house, but also a community hangout. Tons of stuff, everything from like the dollar bins to the big keys. We try to have something for everyone. Other comic book related items as well, not necessarily all just strictly comic books. And yeah, I always order pizza. We always have coffee on tap, and just a great way to hang out and meet people. Now, as far as the weather, we are looking at the potential for rain. Obviously, if there's
No,
any
don't
rain,
say it. Don't say it.
I gotta say it. I gotta say, if there's any rain, obviously we postpone. If there's any chance of rain, we'll keep monitoring it this week. I'll make a final decision, Thursday or Friday, depending on how it's looking. And but yeah, if you are around the area, come hang out. If you're not around the area, definitely check out the recaps. I know Josh usually does some content online about it. Some people go live from the event, and I always post a little bit about it too. So yeah, it's a fun time.
I have one question actually. How wonderful is the size of your head in this slate right here?
It's perfect, honestly.
It's large. I love it. But speaking of, Back Deck Comic Fest,
Yep.
you're one who gets collections and sells some things. So let's talk about a recent acquisition here, Joseph.
Yeah, I bought some books. Some big books here. Just kidding. I did not buy these books. This was a local collector who invited me to very graciously invited me to his home to check out his collection. And when I say collection, I mean collection. This guy had it was by far the best personal collection by like eons above the best personal collection. You see me here with a Batman 1 and a Detective Comics 27. They're both restored, but they're both mid-grade. 5.0 restored Batman 1, 5.5 restored Detective Comics 27. He had all the big keys. Other than he didn't have Action or Superman 1 because he's not a Superman guy. But he did have these two. He had Marvel Comics 1. He had Captain America 1. He had boxes, and I'm talking all those boxes behind me. The majority of them are filled with Golden Age slabs. Yeah, this was a collection, and I will never own most of those books. I have no shot of ever buying this collection, especially because his son's a collector too. So, but very cool that he allowed me to come in and not just see the collection, but also hold some of the books, take some pictures. Just such a cool setup. And he did. Mon Comics is asking about a man cave. He did have some books on display, none of the big ones, but he says he changes it up every couple months. So he had some high grade Silver Age books on display this time. In fact, one of them was a 9.8 Silver Age book, and he changes it up every couple months. So
listen, never say never is the first thing I want to say. Second thing I want to say, your wife Shelby, why does Joe look like Pat? We brought this up at the beginning of the show, Shelby. We don't really have an answer. He just feels very dark right now.
Ganon has gone to the dark side of the Force.
So I do have a question. Tell me all about marriage.
Oh yeah, I think that is another and very important piece of news.
No, we're not. No, it's not part of the news. I just saw Mon's Comics. I want to say thank you very much for that. It was an eventful week. But speaking of an eventful week, we have like some semi-breaking news because tomorrow something's we're gonna get something good, something hot, something we're all looking forward to. What is that, Joseph?
Everyone, Jeff got engaged. Don't let him just shrug this off because it's a big deal. Everyone, give him a round of applause, and then we'll talk about the other stuff. Jeff got engaged. He's stoked. I heard she's at least tolerating it for now. So
yeah, she proposed to me, believe it or not. No, she did not. She's upstairs right now. She's going to throw like something at my face. But I appreciate that very much. It was a big momentous occasion in my life. She is the love of my life. And I'm excited. She's also, we may have a segment here with Shelby and her on the show as well. So for all your significant others, they have the answers.
They do.
What do you think about that? All right. So,
but moving on.
Yeah, definitely moving on.
We've got something good, hopefully good happening tomorrow. Something long anticipated, highly hyped up in a good way. I'm not talking about the bad kind of hype. I'm talking about people are excited for this. We should be getting an official Deadpool and Wolverine trailer tomorrow. Fox has teased us with a poster, and it's got the date on it announcing the trailer dropping tomorrow. Obviously, this movie is not due out for another couple months. What do we got? 3 months left or so?
Yes.
Sometime in July. Yeah, July 26th, I think it says there. Very excited for this trailer. This is a much needed movie, I think. Not only has the MCU been kind of chugging along, struggling a little bit recently to get the kind of viewership that it has in the past, but in addition to that, there needs to be some sort of culmination from the former Fox universe. We need to be able to move on from that. We need to be able to move into this new era of, mutants in the MCU. We've gotten a sprinkling between, Kamala Khan and Submariner. But we need the real deal, the X-Men themselves coming in. And this is kind of going to open the door, close one door and open another door.
That's a good point right there. It's also kind of a palate cleanser as well. It's going to be fun for sure because the first two movies were outstanding. But this one, so many rumors tied to this one, so much anticipation. I hope it doesn't fall flat because remember when Doctor Strange 2 came out, everybody was the craziest theories were involved there with Tom Cruise being Iron Man, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. So like, again, I just try and go in there with an open mind and not take these things in, even though our Adam Schefter, our very own Josh's Comics, suiting up, and he's got some spoilers. So, because Adam Schefter wears the suit, everybody. So I'm excited. Everybody's excited. Tomorrow it's going to be probably, fourth wall breaking, just goodness. There's a little teaser that they have as well. That's fun. You should all check it out. But the main event, well, the pre-main event, the appetizer that leads us to the movie, another trailer tomorrow for Deadpool as well. But moving on from Marvel, Joseph, we got some DC news. We're all over the place with this news today, by the way. And I'm giving
you and I'm excited. I'm excited about this one because I very much enjoy the writing of a certain person we're going to be mentioning. DC has long, been a rival of Marvel Comics, and one thing, especially in this era of comics, the modern era, the 2000s, that Marvel has really done above and beyond what DC has is the alternate universe, the ultimate universe, as Marvel calls it. DC's tried to do things like this a few times, and it's never really caught on in a way. It's never really given the same feeling that the ultimate universe gave. And they're trying something new though, called the Absolute DC Universe, and this is going to be a complete, basically a complete remake of the whole DC universe. And the cool thing about this, the thing that I am most excited about, is that it is being coordinated by Scott Snyder, one of my favorite comic book writers, definitely probably my favorite current, like still very active comic book writer. If you are, I'm a huge fan of Batman, and I will always say that the Snyder run on New 52 and the Snyder run on Detective right before the New 52 reboot, it's some of the best stuff. And he did a lot during New 52 as well. He did a great Swamp Thing run, and he's got tons of indie projects as well, including one of my favorites of all time, Witches. So this is going to kind of be like In Snyder We Trust. You know what I mean? This is a big undertaking, an undertaking that is probably really needed for DC Comics, especially given their whole reboot of their movies as well. I have faith, though. I really do have faith in Scott Snyder, and really happy that he's going to be kind of show running this whole thing.
Yeah, I'm excited too. The thing that I love about Ultimate Comics, there's so much lore with these favorite characters that we followed for decades, right? There's it kind of weighs things down, and just to be able to just kind of have a fresh perspective with the Ultimate Universe is awesome, right? And we saw that early 2000s. We see that now. I'm excited to see that with DC. It was actually, I liked the New 52 when it first came out. That Batman run was insane. I like the Justice League as well, how they formed. So I'm excited for something like this that maybe is on the side, a different universe, as opposed to the main universe for DC, which I think that's what they're doing. I'm not quite sure. But either way, Scott Snyder, I agree. And Scott Snyder, we trust on something like this. It'll be a fresh take of our favorite characters. And I think, as it's being called Absolute DC, I think Absolute Power leads into that. That's their summer event, I do believe. Yep. So, I think as people were saying, there may be some announcements during Comic-Con this year that'll lead to the launch in October or November. So exciting things for DC. They really need an injection of new, fresh ideas there as well. I'm enjoying some of the series. I'm loving Green Lantern. That's both Green Lantern titles. Well, other than that, I'm a little on the rest. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, Nightwing has been really good, and Titans. But outside of those two, I don't read much DC. I kind of hopped off of Batman when Tynan left.
Just tired, man. It's just
it was great when Tynan was just introducing a whole new Rogues gallery. That was really cool. But then he left to do more indie stuff, and
Yeah. So, anyways, looking forward to this fresh new take. As we've seen before, fresh new takes really do work, as our next news piece is proving to be. Joseph.
Yeah. We got some news about the indie world of comics here. TMNT recently had a really awesome animated film, Mutant Mayhem. And we're getting another TMNT film that is being adapted, this time off of the more adult-themed Last Ronin. Now, I have heard that this is going to be a live action, which kind of makes sense because of for the level of maturity and honestly just the darkness of the Last Ronin run. For those of you who don't remember or sorry, don't aren't aware, haven't read the run or anything like that, this is a very crime-ridden world where there is just one turtle left. 3 have been killed off. Just Mikey is left, and it's different. It is different. It's gritty. It's adult, and I really liked it. I read the the 6-issue run. I haven't read the Lost Years yet, which I need to get on. But yeah, I'm excited for this because we're going back to the gritty, violent turtles in the run that's coming out starting in like 2 months.
Yes,
written by Jason Aaron. We're getting this film in production or pre-production now, I guess, and I can't wait.
I'm super excited about it too. I didn't read the full run. The first issue though blew me away. I like the intrigue that they have as to who this turtle is. You kind of gave it away, just giving it well, you did give it away. Let's put it that way. But I think it's an R-rated Turtles movie is going to be amazing, especially bringing it down to their roots. My only concern, Joseph, I think you know what I'm going to say.
What's that?
I think you know what I'm going to say.
I don't.
Is who is behind this? Who is producing this? That is Walter Hamada. Not a fan.
Okay.
He was the one who kind of, he's responsible for such hits as Justice League, Batman vs Superman, those types of horrible DCEU films, and really just had no plan of action. I know he's done some horror, so that may be up your alley. You may know some things that he's done there. Yeah. I'm a little concerned because this is near and dear to all of us, and it's such what we're talking about, the fresh take. I just hope he doesn't think he's the smartest person in that room, as it seemed like all the executives were that ran DCEU. And I hope that they do it right. I hope that they give it, the creators have some input in this, and somebody takes this and runs with it that has a true love for turtles.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I forgot to mention this before, but it is in fact going to be R-rated. I think I kind of implied that, but it's going to be
R-rated. Doesn't mean that it's going to be good.
No, it doesn't mean that it's going to be good, but it does mean that it's not going to be a kid's movie.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, your wife cracks me up with the Martha.
Yeah.
And yep, Dr. Plagueis is right. They better nail this because, honestly, you got one shot at this. They're not going to do, the last Ronin one more time. So yeah, let's just hope. All right, moving on. Some more DC news, Joseph.
Yeah, Peacemaker season 2 is starting production. The DC Studios co-heads snapped a picture as production for the John Cena starring series commenced day 1, season 2, gun posted. And it's interesting because we reported a couple weeks ago on the show that they were going to be doing Peacemaker over the summer after Superman Legacy. And or what's called Superman now. I don't know what the deal with that is now, if they're going to be doing kind of both at the same time, or maybe they're knocking Peacemaker out because it'll be shorter. I don't know.
I actually do have some insight here. I mean, our Adam Schefter may know as well, but what's happening is James Gunn is double dipping here. Not taking away from his duties as Superman, but he will direct. He already wrote the episodes for season 2 a while back, but he will direct less episodes, and he's going to share the load with 3 other directors this time. I think it was 1 or 2 the last season. So it's very exciting because this show, it didn't come out of nowhere because he was kind of wacky in Suicide Squad, but they took it to another level. I am so excited for this season 2. I'm hoping that they somehow absorb it into what this new universe will be, because man, John Cena is just perfect for this role, and this just kind of a revamp as to what Peacemaker was originally. Joe, do you think that they're going to have a new dance scene to open up the show?
I heard that it is going to be a different theme song and a different dance. Now that's just what I heard. If it's half as good as the first one, I'm cool with it. But it's pretty hard to top how catchy.
Oh, so great!
That first season was. Yeah.
I watched every episode. I watched that open. I had to. I was like, it's just absolutely incredible. So
Yeah.
excited for this. I'm so excited for what James Gunn is bringing. I know a certain guy by the name of Dan De La Torre does not agree with us, but yeah, just give it a chance, Dan. We'll see Dan in a little bit. By the way, he's tossing his arms at us. Whatever. All right, and our last piece of news, Joe, is unfortunate news for a talented creator, but please take that away.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of the last name here. But
I don't know how to pronounce it either, so I'll say it. Verege?
I thought it was Verege.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeffrey Verege, a groundbreaking Native American artist, passed away. He had battled lupus, and he is survived by a wife and 3 children, and he's got some very unique style of artwork that really incorporates his heritage, and it stands out. It's one of those styles that you just kind of instantly know. But yeah, he has passed away after battling lupus. Very unfortunate.
Yeah, definitely a style of his own that incorporated his heritage. And again, rest in peace and condolences to his family.
Yeah, and I assume his, at least all the work that I can think of is all modern stuff. So I assume he's pretty young. I didn't look up his age, but
he was 50.
50. Yeah, I mean
he had
that's
an
rather
amazing
young.
Werewolf by Night cover. I think it
Oh,
was
dude,
the cover B, or as a variant. Oh my god, that thing was incredible. We should have pulled that to show up, but like, just look at that Spider-Man. Look at that Spider-Man right there.
Yeah,
Just really so well done. Again, an artist gone too soon. Gunnar Slurker actually brought that to our attention. And yeah, I knew of the covers. I didn't know of the man. But reading up on,
like I've seen those covers, and he did I think he did the Red Wolf run as well.
He did,
which like that entire run has those covers, and that's perfect for a Native American character.
It really is.
I have that run in that's in my PC just because I love the art on it, and I hate to say it, but I didn't know the name until after hearing of his passing, which is unfortunate. Kind of an unsung hero, but and I believe was still active in comics.
Yeah. That Werewolf by Night, I just kept looking at that thing.
Yeah.
I should have put it under a black light because it has the colors that pop. But anyways, really, again, and a well-known artist in the community as well. So rest in peace. And that right there ends the news. Wish we could have ended it on a happier note. But we do want to say, this may excite you, that we're going to have Ask Joe soon. So get those, and Jeff. So get those questions ready. Get them in the comments. And while you're at it, why don't you like and subscribe? You're here anyways. You're here every week. Just do it. You may as well just do it. Like, subscribe, share with your friends too. Tell your mom about the show. She would love it. My mom tried to watch that one show. It was The Death of Chet. I tried to have my mom watch it. She couldn't. She was too heartbroken. But anyways, Ask Joe is coming up soon. But before Ask Joe, we always do this. We say hello to you wonderful people like Steve Bradley. Hello. Mark Leneker, MON Comics. Josh's Comics, as we said before. And yes, that intro, The Peacemaker, was banging. It still is. Still is. We got, again, Shelby, a.k.a. Dr. Frankenstein. Dr. Plague is in the house. Dan De La Torre is here. You'll be hearing from the judge in a bit, I do believe. We have Raw Dog Comics. My voice is, whoo, boy. Who else do we have? We have a fun crew today. Jordan Nori is here. Nikita Kari is here. We got Heroes Reborn. We got a fun, fresh crew. We got Brian Klotz. What's up, Philly friends? You got that right. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
So my fiance, it's the first time I said that on the show. She does like saying, like, when we're out and about in New York, as we're in the New York City area, you see a lot of Eagles fans. She'll always be like, "Go Birds!" But the other day, we're driving down the street and full on Eagles gear. This dude walking down the sidewalk. like, baby, go. So she's like, so she has to roll down the window. She's like, go birds. It was the cutest little thing. She did not nail it because she was so flustered that she had to roll down the window real quick before he walked away. But anyways, go birds, go Philly. Hello, Brian Klotz. All right, so here we are. Ask Joe and Jeff is coming up, but we can't do anything before we do this. Ask Joe and Jeff.
And Jeff.
And Jeff. That's right. I'm here, and we do have a question right now from our Adam Schefter of the show, aka Josh's Comics. Ask Joe, CBC, and Jeff as well. What are 3 current comic runs you would recommend to others to read? Joe, should we put some rules on me? Should we restrain me a bit?
No, you can drop exactly what I know you're going to drop. That's perfectly fine. It's always good to talk about what you like. Before I answer this question, I just want to say, put those questions in the chat. I want to answer some good questions today. I know Dan's got one that we're going to bring him on for, and this is a great one. This is a great one because comics don't survive off of the comics that came out 30 years ago and 40 years ago and 50 years ago. The current comics, that's the stuff that, you know, it keeps these companies alive, keeps the industry going, keeps stores afloat. Always important, you know, and I'm not saying you got to go out and buy everything, read everything, but find stuff you like. It's out there. I promise. There are plenty of good comics right now. Personally, I'm going to name, let's go. I'm going to name, man, I think I need to name 2 Marvels. I was going to name a Marvel and a DC, but I'm going to go with 2 Marvel books. And then I got to decide on my third one. First of all, Ultimate Spider-Man. Cool new take on this like middle-aged father, Peter Parker. Really, really just, you know, cool new Ultimate Universe, fresh take on things. And, yeah, it's nice. It's working so far. No complaints. Second, and this is kind of because this is a little bit more weird, kind of strays away. Like Spider-Man, it makes sense. It's a pretty regular Spider-Man story, just with a new take. The X-Men, Ultimate X-Men run, written and drawn by Peach Momoko, just has absolutely beautiful visuals, and it's very weird so far. I've read 2 issues. I think that's all that's out so far. So I am very excited to see where she goes with this because it's weird, a little creepy, and then it's got her very unique style of artistic rendition, which is great. The third, let's see, I'm gonna go into the future a little bit and mention this again. TMNT, the Jason Aaron TMNT run.
That doesn't count. You haven't read it yet.
I know I haven't read it yet, but I'm really excited to read it. I put it on my pull list before I asked to put it on my pull list before they could even put it on my pull list. That's how excited I am for it. So I'm going to go with that. It comes out, I think in June. I forget.
Yeah, I think it is in June. All right. So
and it's a reboot of the universe.
Yeah, no, it's not. I don't think it is a reboot, is it?
It's a soft reboot, and it's way more violent. And and it does start at issue 1. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. All right. So the 3 books I'm currently reading that I enjoy. One of them I'm not sure if it'll count, Joe. You'll have to say, but I'm gonna say Geiger. Love Geiger. Jeff Johns, Gary Frank. That art is incredible. The story is incredible. They're building a whole universe there with Rook, Redcoat, a variety of other characters as well. I haven't gotten to those yet, but I'm loving it. The second one, which is the one I was thinking about, was Batman, the Dark. Not what is it? This one right here.
Oh,
First Night. Sorry, First Night. Now it's a 3-issue miniseries.
Yes. With such a cool cover.
Oh my God, this is a cover B of the first issue, but I've read the second issue as well, just as good. So I'm really enjoying that.
That is also count? That's the cover. There's a second printing with that cover as well, because that cover was so popular.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, this is the B cover though. This came out at the same time.
Yeah, I know, but it's the second printing as well.
Art is incredible. The the format is just fantastic. So that's my second one. And my third, Joe, anything in the Energon universe.
Yeah, I figured.
I couldn't get away from that. I really couldn't get away from that. But does that count, though, that it's a miniseries? That's all I want to ask there.
Miniseries count as
So
runs.
currently
for sure.
reading. That's it. So I'm excited for all those books whenever they come out. Very excited. All right. Next one, Joseph. By the way, Josh, that was a great question.
Yeah.
Mons Comics. Ask Joe, CBC, and Jeff as well. And Jeff, when you buy slabs for your collection, how much does grade matter to you, and or does it depend on what age it's from? Good.
Great question. How much does grade matter to me? I wouldn't say I'm a grade snob because I have books that are incomplete. I have books that are low grade. I have books that are mid grade, high grade. I'm not particularly a grade snob. Obviously, higher grade the better. Typically for me, for my personal collection, if it's a Copper Age or earlier, Copper Age or later book, really even the late Bronze, let's say 1980 and to present, I want the 9.8. There are a couple exceptions to this. I have a 9.6 First Venom. It's a more expensive book. Jeff's about to show something cool as soon as he's done tying his shoe.
That cool.
Okay, he's about to do something. I don't know.
No,
but
keep going.
You know, so typically, yeah, I personally, and this is just me personally, if it's 1980 to present, I want a 9.8. If it's, a Bronze Age book, I usually want, mid-grade or higher. I don't want like a 2.0 or 3.0 Bronze Age book. Once you get back to the Silver Age, though, it's really depending on what the key is. If it's a Silver Age minor key or filler issue that you like the cover on, you can afford a higher grade book. But if it's, a First Green Goblin, maybe a 2.5 is good. And, as far as Golden Age stuff, you're lucky to even get your hands on those books. Sometimes you just got to take what you can get. So it really depends on age for me, and price point as well. Like a 9.8, a 9.6 First Venom is like $900, maybe $1,000. A 9.8 First Venom is a couple thousand. There's a big difference in price there. And, it's okay to have whatever grade you can afford. Don't stress yourself out financially for comic books.
No, absolutely. I'm going to go again. I don't go looking for slabs. Sometimes I'll slab some things. By the way, Tony, I do want to send a lot of things your way, and I know Joe will too. We need to do a segment.
I'm so far behind on that. Yeah,
so far, but it's happening. But I'll slab some things myself. But if I see a good deal, I'm just going to go for it. Like this one right here, Marvel Superhero Secret Wars #1, the Blue Galactus variant. It's a 9.2. But Joe, I got this for $15. You know what I mean? Like, why not?
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
Yeah. So I was like, hell yeah. I picked this up. Oh, it's also a newsstand too. So I just picked this up. So I go looking for things like that. I'm not looking specifically slab. So it all depends. It's, a whole bunch of variables that factor in. This is a 9.2. I'd like a modern book. Again, this is copper, but I'd like modern books to be 9.8s if I'm going to be doing that. But yeah, so anyways, those are some things to think about. That is a great question there. MON.
Mon Comics.
I like saying it. It's M.O.N.
Yeah, but he's Mon Comics.
Can I say that? M-O.
I
don't want to argue with you today. I don't. I really don't. You've had a long week.
Gosh.
We're married, you and I too. And I got to tell my fiance about that arrangement. But anyways, all right, moving on. Brian Klotz. What are 3 titles I could recommend to my brothers for their 11 and 12-year-old daughters to read to get them into comics? Okay. Joe. I don't know if you want to take this first.
This is a good question. I'm trying to definitely screen these books. If you're going to actually do this, definitely screen them, because I'm not a parent. And also I'm not specifically the parent of these children, and different parents allow different things. The first thing that popped into my head is Paper Girls. It's got it's got some horror elements to it. It's not, it's not rated G, but I feel like an 11, 12-year-old, that preteen age, that could be fine. Paper Girls. And it's about a group of young girls who band together and do some cool stuff. So I think that's kind of was the first one that came to mind. Next I'm going to go with, you want me to do all three of mine and then pass it over to you?
I want to comment on Paper Girls. I'm a parent. Granted, my daughter's 8. I would hesitate a little bit to give it to 11 or 12 years. Yeah. Anyways,
I was raised with no rules. It did not really, but not a lot of rules about content. Yeah. So another one that I go with, and this is, I recommend this to everyone. And that is Ultimate Spider-Man. The original Ultimate Spider-Man book from 2000. It is kid appropriate enough to, be okay. But it's Spider-Man, and it's a great Spider-Man story. In addition to that, I'll give my third one up to a Spider-Man book as well, because I really like this run, and this run was meant for kids specifically. And I thought they did such a great job, because it was very interesting while also being very, very kid friendly. In fact, I had these issues. I used to be an elementary school teacher and had these issues in my classroom. And that is Web of Spider-Man, not the original 80s Web of Spider-Man run, but the run that came out 6 years ago, and it was WEB. It was the World Engineering Brigade. That was Web of Spider-Man, WEB. And it was a group of child geniuses, including Moon Girl and Harvey Keener and Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and the one girl from Wakanda, I forget her name, not Shuri. Starts with an O, and I can't remember her name now. She's in Future Foundation, that run. But anyway, really cool run about a group of genius level kid superheroes, and it's a good one for sure.
Yeah, it's a little hard for me because I've been trying to get my daughter into collecting comics. She actually wrote her and produced her own comic right there.
Yes.
But she hasn't really stuck with it. And I'm coming from a younger perspective. I'm not quite sure what 11 or 12, but there's a series that's fun. It's Jeff the Shark. It's from Marvel. That's a fun kind of lighthearted take from the Marvel universe that has all of the characters, Captain America, Spider-Man, etc. So that's a fun one right there. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think Ultimate Spider-Man, the original Ultimate Spider-Man, is a great way to have them start reading. I think get some of those, the first graphic novel, the first volume or what have you, would be a great buy right there. And I'm not sure. I don't really have a third one. Because again, I'm trying to, we've been through My Little Pony. We've been through Sonic as well, maybe. We've been
Sonic is I can't believe I missed that. Both the original run from Archie Comics and the current IDW run, great stuff.
So that hopefully those handful of suggestions right there will get you started. Brian, let us know how that works out. We would love to hear again how that shakes out for your family right there. Great question though. Absolutely. Got to get the kids in the comics, got to get this hobby continuing to grow stronger and stronger each day. So let's get those kids reading comic books. Next up, we got Mon's Comics, MON Comics. Sorry. Ask Joe CBC and Jeff as well. Did you guys see the Transformers 1 trailer? And if yes, what did you think?
My answer is easy. I didn't see it, and I can't tell you because I didn't see it. I'm not much of a Transformers guy. I'll probably watch the trailer eventually when it just happens to pop on sometime, and I may or may not go see the movie. Sorry, Jeff.
I'm not offended. I don't know what to think. It is it takes us back in the past further than we've ever seen before. Like the origin of Optimus and Megatron. It seems a little kiddie. I'm interested. Chris Helmsworth is Optimus, and I can't remember his last name. He was in Eternals. He is Megatron. So I'm interested to see how it shakes out. I will probably watch it. But I watched it and I'm like, I'm not really sure what to think because it's not something we've seen before with Transformers. It definitely is probably for younger audience, but if it's within the canon of all the Transformers films. So I'll definitely want to watch. That's a good question. Mons, what did you think? Please let us know. Everybody, please like, subscribe if you haven't done so already. We're right here. Tell your friends. This is the most popular YouTube show ever. So yeah. Mark Leneker asked Joe, no Jeff. Dave Stevens is having a hot moment, temporary bump, or has the floor raised permanently. His art is great, so God knows he deserves it.
Yeah, this is something that actually came up in my claim sale today, and this is a great question. There really hasn't been, at least that I've seen in recent years, an artist that is no longer current working and honestly no longer currently alive. He passed away a number of years ago. That has gotten so much of a big bump out of nowhere. I don't know if it's people, if it's like, I feel like he was like kind of a discovery of the comic boom, as people were diving into comics, deeper and deeper because, the comic boom was really hyping so many things up. His artwork became just so sought after, whereas, a lot of his books were in dollar bins. A lot of his work is just like on indie titles that have no significance other than Dave Stevens covers. And now they're 40, 50, 100, over $100 books. I can't believe it because there were a lot of his covers that I was selling for $5 and $10, like just like 2 or 3 years ago, that are now going for that, high double digits and even in triple digit sales. Do I think this is a temporary bump? Anytime something spikes, it is usually a temporary bump, but I also think the floor has raised. So I think, yes, there's been a big spike and things will calm down. But at the same time, I do think that the floor is raised. I don't think you're going to find those books as often in the dollar bins anymore. I don't think those, eBay sales of the $50 keys are going to go down to $10 or anything like that. I think that, Dave Stevens has really gotten the attention that he's always deserved. And I think that is, a good thing for his legacy, as well as, just a cool new layer to the comic book community.
Yeah, it is interesting though. It is out of nowhere. I'm not sure if newer collectors are like really kind of being exposed to his work or what, but it is kind of interesting how
you know what? I'm having an idea, Jeff, and I can't promise the community this, but I know a guy who has always been a Dave Stevens super fan. A major Dave Stevens super fan. I wonder if I could get him to come on the show and talk about this sometime.
That's a good point. It's a very good point. It's a
we
great
do need
question.
more guests.
We need to have more guests. We're just so slammed. We don't work on the show until Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
The day of the show. I don't think I'm skipping over another one here because I see Tony asking a question.
Yep.
Ask Joe and Jeff, when you are buying slabs, I know it's not like this for every book, but can you give some examples of what books you would be buying? The book, not the grade or grading company. Got it. Okay. So what examples of the book that you would buy in a slab? Not the grade, not the grading company.
Yeah. I think the biggest example for me, at least, is Golden Age stuff. Just because it's not often accessible on a regular basis, especially books that there are, a lot of Golden Age books, there's under 100 known to exist, especially a lot of those. And think about it, there's 50, 60, 40, whatever known to exist, and it doesn't come up for sale very often. Whether you're buying it graded or raw, this really applies. Just trying to get in and own a book, not care about the grade, not care about who graded it. And having the book, getting it on the ground floor, as we call it, and then maybe bump it up, upgrade to a higher grade or something like that. Maybe crack it out, press it, clean it, send it to Tony so he can put a cool custom label on it, and maybe it gets a grade bump along the way. Shout out EGS Comics. Woo woo. But yeah, I think that for me, it's the scarce books, the golden age stuff, the stuff that doesn't come along every day. You can get realistically, you can find Silver Age books and newer from Marvel and DC any day of the week in any grade you want, probably, as long as you have the money for it. That's not the case with a lot of indie stuff, a lot of golden age stuff, and just lower print run things.
Yeah, me personally, I'm not looking to buy slabs. I'm not. Like, if I run across a great deal, sorry guys, I had to bend down to pick this up. If I run across a great deal for 15 bucks like this, I'm gonna get it. This was also 15 bucks, a 9.8. It's an introduction of the first character of Strange Academy 3. It's a variant, Ryan Otley variant. This is 15 bucks too. If I see those things for 15 bucks, I'm gonna get them. But like, I'm not actively out there looking to buy graded books. What I am looking to do, Tony, is to encapsulate books that are special to me, which you have done with this Amazing Spider-Man right here, signed by Stan Lee, EGS, my daughter's book right there. And I have a whole slew of other books that are going to be Silver Age that we're going to send to you, that Joe and I need to figure out how we're going to do a segment on that and then actually send it to you. So for me, that's just my personal thoughts on slabs. If there's a great deal, I'm getting it. Otherwise, I'm slamming it with EGS for sentimental reasons.
Well said.
That's a great question.
Yeah, I do buy a lot of stuff slabbed, but it's less out of wanting to buy it slabbed and more that was what was available. It's a lot of golden age stuff and harder to find stuff that people just automatically kind of get graded because it financially makes sense to do so.
All right, our last question here before we get to Dan De La Torre is this. This is an important one. Has anyone ever tried peeing in the kitchen sink when nobody was looking? I have at a party, I think, but everybody was looking anyways. So you gotta go. I'm
5'6", and I have a tall kitchen counter, so I don't think it would be difficult for me to do this without making a mess. So I'm gonna say I haven't tried, and I probably never will. But this is a great question. This is the kind of questions we need more of.
We definitely need more of these questions because it gets to the heart of who we are as people.
Right.
Shelby, right now, I think you're playing it safe because Shelby's here and she's watching. So
she probably went to the garage and is watching TikToks right now.
Okay, well, you better hope she's not Tell the truth. You've done it in your sink.
No,
I've never done it in my sink. I've never done it in a sink. No, never. I don't know how Dan De La Torre is going to top that question, but here we go. We're giving him an opportunity. Dan De La Torre with the live Ask Joe and Jeff question of the week.
Now, wait a minute. I have to follow the Steve Bradley question? Really? Wow. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. I see where I rank in this show. Here we go. Steve, I love you, man. These great questions and great comments. Okay. You guys mentioned The Last Ronin, and I had to dig this out, and it segues into the question I have here. It's The Last Ronin 9/8, and it's signed and sketched by Kevin Eastman.
There you go.
That was very, very cool. Got a great deal on it. And it is a CGC. Tony, I bought this before I met you. Okay, so just no shenanigans here. But yeah, that's very, very cool. And the more I look at this, by the way, I'm thinking, God, this could be a 9/8. I might want to send it in, crack it, and go for that 9/8 here. And that leads to my question.
You mean 9/9, Dan?
Go for a 9/9. Thank you, 9/9s. Thank you for correcting me.
I was wondering why you crack it open to get another 9/8.
Because I'm old and forgetful. Okay, that's what happens when you get old. So, with Blackstone, formerly known as CGC, they bought out JSA recently. I think they bought out something else. They're trying to corner the market. And this latest stunt, and that's what this is, by lowering the standards, and that's the only way to explain why they're introducing the 9.9 format, because we've seen the 9.9s already. They're the first ones that they're throwing out, and they're not 9.9s. It's obvious. So with that said here, Joe, how has this new approach affected the market? We'll see this probably in the coming year. This will take about a year for this to introduce in the market. How is that going to water down the 9.8s, which used to be the Grail, and now 9.9s are going to be the Grail? There have been 9.9s before. I've seen a few. They do exist, you know. But now with this flood of 9.9s, what is going to happen? You as a dealer, what do you see coming up?
So here's what I see coming up. I one of a couple things could happen. One of those things is kind of what people fear, and what kind of you're mentioning here is that their 9.9s of books start popping up here and there and everywhere, and it becomes kind of the new norm. What I think though is a little bit different than what a lot of people are kind of speculating on here. I think that this 9.9 pre-screen is more for the books that actually get a 9.9 fairly regularly, such as modern square-bound books with cardstock covers like Last Ronin #1, Batman Damn, you know, all those the square-bound DC, what was it? Black Label DC oversized books. Those were getting 9.9s very regularly. Yep. There you go. Jeff's got one right there. The cardstock foil covers that are frequently used as like con exclusives and stuff like that. The books that have a much easier time getting a 9.9 because of how what they're actually made of. You know, we have not yet seen an increase of 9.9s for standard comic books with like the thin paper covers. It's mostly been modern cardstock covers that we've seen getting 9.9s regularly. Did we just get a giant size X-Men 1?
Yes. I was going to ask you about that. Yes.
A giant size X-Men 1 was graded in 9.9, and whether you think it's a 9.9 or a 9.8 or a 9.6, I have not seen it in person, and I cannot weigh in on my opinion of it. That is the first one to ever pop up as far as a 9.9 of that book. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're grading differently. It might just be a 9.9. And like I said, I have no opinion on that. So it's my hope that we see the trend continue, that books that are, you know, standard comic book paper covers and older stuff don't really get many 9.9s, if any at all. And we see the 9.9 pre-screen be for modern books with cardstock covers and foil covers and stuff like that.
Well, the thing that I've seen with other people that in the YouTube comic show industry have looked at this book in detail, and all of them said the same thing. These are all people we know and trust and so forth. They said, that's not a 9.9. And then the impression that I got by looking at it, I questioned why it was a 9.8 in the first place.
Yeah.
So, but if that's their introductory book that they're throwing out into the market, shouldn't they have done a better job getting an actual 9.9 that says, because if you see a 9.8 or a 9.9, you should say, wow, that's brilliant. It's got bright white pages. The color pops at you, and it practically walks on water. Okay. That one didn't. That one didn't at all. So I have great doubts that CGC is maintaining a 9.9 standard. I think they're watering this down, and I think that's going to really harm the market.
I will say this. That book particularly, like I said, I've not seen it in person. I've seen pictures of it, and to me, it did not look like a 9.9. I obviously you can't grade a book off of pictures. It's simply impossible. What might be a shadow, what might be, you know, something else. It could be something, you know, different entirely. So I don't want to give my firm opinion on that one. I've been talking a lot with Jim from Bronzeville Comics because he brought this up. And I've been checking on this recently, and it's census data for bigger keys. First Harley Quinn is a book that has 0 9.9s. If there are 0 9.9s of the first Harley Quinn 2 years from now, I'll feel okay and say, okay, I don't think they changed their grading policy. Even if there's 1 or 2, I think, okay, I don't think they changed their grading policy. If a year from now, 2 years from now, there's 10, 15, 20 on the census, that's a bad look, because it's been 20 years plus of CGC grading tons of copies of that book, and not a single one's popped up. Now you make the 9.9. That's what we need to look at. There is one Omega Red, first Omega Red, that got a 9.9. One. If same thing, 2 years from now, if there's 2 or 3, okay, sure, fine. If there's 15, 20, that's a bad look. So I think time is going to have to tell with this one.
There's many bad. I mean, they have not done themselves any favors with all the controversies they've had recently as well. And having this, I'm not sure if it's the bright shiny object to distract, but you're right. I mean, there's going to be a way to monitor that, as you just said, and time will tell. But it is kind of, I kind of lean towards what Dan said. It feels like it's going to water things down, and I don't know. I just
want to comment on something that Tony said. Money grab. Absolutely. That's like undeniable here. I'm not defending CGC by any means and saying, oh, I think this is a good thing. I don't. I think this is dumb. But at the same time, as long as we're not seeing, different numbers of, these books that have not been getting 9.9s for 2 decades plus, then I don't see a problem with it. If it is primarily truly for really modern stuff, cardstock covers, foils, all that stuff, that's fine by me. That's not stuff that I collect, and it doesn't affect me at all. And it's not even stuff that I really actively seek out to buy and sell. It's just stuff that sometimes comes along with collections, and I usually just try to sell that stuff as quickly as possible.
I've never slabbed, CGC, never will. I was going to, but now again, the thing that I like about this, yes, you can't resell these, but I trust what is on this label. I've said this over and over and over again. It's worth repeating because again, I'm an old time collector, and CGC had me like everybody else. I used to love CGC, but like, if you're gonna go down this road, the corporate road, which they did,
yep,
I want nothing to do with it. I want something that's reliable, and here it is.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. It's all, we've talked about supporting the community. I've mentioned supporting LCSs and buying new comics and all that stuff. And this is a prime example of that. This is a company that originated within the comic book community, but it is long past that. Steve Borak is a great member of the comic book community, the original founder of CGC. He hasn't been with the company in forever. In fact, he actually was the one that started CBCS, and now I think he's at Comic Link. He is no longer involved with this company, and like you said, this company has gone to private equity as well. BlackRock owns I think the entirety, or at least a majority share. I mean, supporting the community, supporting someone like Tony, who is doing his best to get his product out there and show other members of the community. And you said something a second ago, Dan. You said you can't sell this. You can sell that book. You absolutely have the right to sell that book. And, you just need someone that wants that really awesome custom label that you had on that Hulk 102.
Cover price actually keeps tallies on that as well with EGS. So it's, easily. By the way, EGS is in Florida. Where in Florida, Tony? Please let us know. I guess I've sent stuff to you, but I don't know. I just imagine you always under a palm tree grading comics.
And Brian, stay tuned, because we actually have EGS sponsors one of our segments, and we'll have the discount code up in a little bit for that.
Yes, we will. We will indeed. Dan, it's been a pleasure for you being on the show, but we're gonna see your alias, the Judge, in a bit.
All right. And hey, congratulations on your engagement. Get used to wearing one of these.
Huh?
Get used to wearing one of these. Congratulations to you, sir. Yeah.
Thank you. Tell me.
We'll talk about that later.
Life.
How much time do you have?
I'm gonna go now.
All right, see you guys in a bit.
Or you're gonna go, and I'm gonna stay here. We're
All
gonna
right.
finish up the show.
right.
We'll see you later, Judge. All right, and that right there ends the wonderful segment called Ask Joe and Jeff. A wonderful segment. We love that segment so much. But we have our last segment of the night. Y'all are probably like, no, the show's not gonna, it's ending earlier. Just go longer. We love you guys. We miss you guys. Well, guys, we can't. Okay. We work daytime jobs during the week. We have families and we do this show. Okay. We can't put any more into this. That's a lie, Joe. That's a lie. We love it so much. It's actually top priority over wives, fiancés, children, and jobs.
Yes.
So we are going to do a little bit more by thank you, Steve. It is Def Leppard. Anyways,
he's nuts.
God, I'm losing it right now. Wait, let's stay on track. We do this final segment. What is it called, Joe? What is it called?
Hold on, I'm gotta go Palpatine mode for this one.
Please do. I wish I could do a cool like lightning effect.
Right. We need some better production here, but here we go. This next segment brought to you by the dark side of the Force is one we call Fresh from the Comic Shop.
That's right. Fly from the Preston Salon. We ask all you fine people to show us your fresh gets each and every week, and you never disappoint. All you got to do is upload it to the Instagrams. I mean, yeah, use the hashtag FFTCS, but it is the whole hashtag thing is trash now. Be sure to tag Comic Book Canon in the picture, not the description. In the picture, otherwise we may not see it, and that would be a travesty until you let us know, hey, I did this, then we'll bring it on the next week. But anyway, send up your fresh gets. We will show them on the show. You may do like 7 at a time, but we'll only choose one. Not only will you be able to show your fresh gets to this wonderful community and have everybody cheer you on, yay, Super Pro #1, yay, but you are also instantly submitting for a monthly prize by this company that we just talked about. It's a wonderful company. Tony's in the room here, and it is, I have it right here, EGS and Spider Dude Comics. They both are proud partners of Fresh from the Comic Shop, and they give away a book each month. A wonderful EGS slab. The book's chosen by Spider Dude and actually given by Spider Dude Comics as well. Save 5% off your EGS order using the code CANON5. Optional customized labels. You guys have seen those. Actually, you just saw one with Dan. It was a beautiful Hulk label. Free graders notes, fast turnaround times as well. I saw somebody say that they're behind. I don't know, Tony, if you want to comment on that. I'm not sure if that's the case. But yeah, they are wonderful. I'm telling you right now, Joe, myself, Chris, Dan, we will talk shit if a product sucks. EGS is great. Spider Dude Comics is great. Their links are down below. Please follow them, like, subscribe, etc., etc. Now, some of you are new here. Be like, hey, what do I submit for Fresh from the Comic Shop? Before we show you the monthly book, we're going to give you the 3 criteria we look for in submitting. And the first one is take a well-composed shot, right? Proper lighting, nice background, have something that relates to the comic book. Have fun with it. Think outside the box. Don't take a picture, put it on the floor, have your dirty ass, moldy feet right by the picture. You know it smells like moldy cheese, right? We don't want to see that. Don't want to see that image. We want to see it, a well-composed shot. You're going to see some great examples of that this week. So that is criteria number 1. Joe, what's criteria number 2?
So criteria number 2 pertains to the fact that we want to see something unique. Now, you may be sitting there at home being like, no, I work at the slop factory. I make 14 cents an hour. I cannot afford unique because unique to me, it must mean it's like at least, I don't know what, like $30,000. But no, you would be wrong. And your job at the Slop Factory pays you enough to buy yourself a great, unique book, because unique doesn't necessarily mean $30,000. It could be 30 cents for all we care. We just want to see something that is original, something that maybe we haven't seen before. Maybe it's an indie book. Maybe it's even a Kickstarter book, something that you helped fund. Maybe it's a golden age book that not a lot of people know about. Maybe it's just something a little bit more obscure. Maybe there's even something special about that book that makes it unique, such as having a double cover, a printing error, original art, a signature, or something like that. That's what we care about. We want to see something original. If you show us an X-Force #1, you know,
not unique.
No, not unique. There's a bazillion of those at every flea market in America. And you know what? We'll probably block you. No, we wouldn't do that. We wouldn't do that.
We would think about it, though. If you try to claim it's unique, we would be like, done. All right, the third criteria is pull at our heartstrings. Tell us a story. Tell us something that means to you. Give us something that's going to bring a little tear to our eye. Am I right? I mean, like, look, I just got engaged. I'm super excited about the wedding, but my parents, they were married in a long time ago. I can't remember when. I wasn't born, but my dad wanted the first appearance of Superman Action Comics #1 for his gift. Joe, this is a true story. Okay.
Yeah.
What did my mom do? She bought him that it was, $500 back then, right? She bought him it and presented it to him at the wedding. But you know what happened? You know, the cute little thing that everybody does where they cut the cake, they smush it in your face. They smushed that cake in your face. What was my dad doing?
He was reading his Action Comics 1.
He was looking at his Action comic books, did not see my mom coming in. Destroyed. There's wedding cake all over Action Comics #1.
Yeah.
Now they're in almost their 80s, right? They made adult money. What do?
They buy themselves an Action Comics #1 at auction.
And wipe out their whole retirement, but my dad got that book back. That right there, that pulls at the heartstrings. That tells us a wonderful sentimental story. So be sure to include that as well. You don't need all three criteria, but it does help. So we're going to get into this in a hot second to show off your fresh gets, and we're going to pick a semifinalist. But before we do, Joseph,
Hey, Jeff, before we do, did we ever announce the winner for last month?
Yeah.
Did we?
Yeah.
I don't think we did.
No, I think we did.
Who was it?
I don't remember.
I love this show.
It's as easy as having an Excel spreadsheet. And
I don't think we did.
I think we did. We'll double check this, but
in the meantime, you check it while I'm showing one of my books at some point tonight.
But so the April book of the month is this wonderful EGS Spider Dude comic. Spider-Man #7, the second print here, 9.8. Look at the gorgeous gradient colors at the top. That is a customized label that matches the beautiful cover from Spider Dude Comics. Very excited to hand this out to somebody this month. And we'll get back to that. I know we had a winner from last month. So that being said, we did have, by the way, if you want a Fresh from the Comic Shop t-shirt, you can get them at the link down below. And we did have our semifinals right there. We had Nori Jordan moving on, 54% of the vote, which was 30 votes, to Nuke's 46%, 26 votes. Jordan, Nori, you are moving on to the finals of April. It was Mon Comics. Yes, thank you, Dr. Plagueis, with the wonderful Swamp Thing. Mon Comics won last month.
Man Thing won.
So yeah. So there we go. It all works out.
That's our announcement. There we go. We did it.
It all works out. All right. First up, take note, everybody. Who do we have? Oh no, please don't do this. Don't. You did. All right. I'm just gonna move on for a hot sec. We got Danny from Earth 616, but I didn't upload for some reason. Raising Elm Comics. I mean, come on, everybody. We're talking about having it relate to the book. And well composed shot. Justin does this every week.
It's freaking awesome.
Howdy, comic fam, and massive congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Cannon. I guess that would be me and Alicia. You bagged and boarded one of the good guys. That's cute. My beautiful wife, our Randy Irene, and I celebrated our wedding anniversary just a few days before y'all's wonderful announcement. Thank you for this. In all seriousness, I do appreciate it. Our little man Elijah stayed with us with his grandma while we went and had a scrumptious meal by the lake in a neighboring town. After dinner, we went and browsed around Barnes & Noble, which is where I found this shiny trade paperback copy of Firefly. Watch How I Soar. I'm glad that Boom Studios is helping keep the story going for this ragtag group of browncoats. Firefly / Serenity has been 20 plus years. It serves as a reminder that all our stories are important. Much love, comic fam. Like, Justin always does a great job of not only showing us, he does a great job of telling us too.
Yo.
So kudos right there. Well composed. Like how it all relates. Joseph, any comments right there?
Yeah, I was today years old when I realized that Serenity and Firefly are related.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. On that.
Thank you for schooling me.
I knew that without even watching any of those shows. So moving on though. We got Dr. Plagueis in the house. Here we go. What do we got? I love Dr. Plagueis' setup. I love it. And obviously this book is outstanding.
Oh,
one big step closer to completing my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Volume 1 run with this issue number 2 first print, thanks to my buddy and fellow Canon crew member. Did I cut that off? Who was it? I think it may have been Brixco Comics.
Yep.
So Bond. Paul Bond delivered. Well done. Well done, community. Joseph, your first fresh get of the week.
All right, so I'm going to start with my modern book. I've got modern. I've got silver, bronze, like right at the turning point. I'm not sure where it falls. And I've got a golden age book. We're going to start with a modern book. This is a hip hop variant cover, one of my favorite ones and one that I've never owned. This is Silk #1 with this beautiful Mos Def homage cover. Mos Def, obviously.
That is dope. I love it. I love it.
Greatest to ever do it. Silk, this is an awesome run. Honestly, Silk, massively underrated character.
Yes.
Probably my favorite female spider character. By a long shot. I think she's way better than any of the rest of them, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, Silk #1, great cover, hip hop variant, awesome stuff. I got it at a con today. I spent a crap ton of money on hip hop variants and Scotty Young variants, and I'll be keeping this one, but I got multiple copies of it, so I'll have some up for sale soon as well.
Who drew that, by the way?
You know what? I can tell you because I looked it up earlier and I forgot the name. And
I love that. I love most of those covers are outstanding.
It is Wu Dei Shim.
It's gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. All right, moving on. We got a big book here for a I don't think he's that big of a guy, but just for a big guy. Cool guy. Danny from Earth 616. Why so serious? Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a long time coming. I promised Jeff I would do one of these once this came in the mail. This is Batman 251. It's a classic Neil Adams cover, and it is credited as the issue that took the Joker back to his homicidal roots. It is by far the most valuable book in my personal collection, my favorite comic book cover of all time. But that is not the reason I bought it. Before I go any further, shout out to Brixco Comics for the great business and hooking myself and everyone else up with great deals. I grew up watching The Dark Knight. It is to date one of the best Batman films of all time. I also grew up watching the classic Batman film starring Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson, which is still my favorite Batman movie ever. The Joker has been a huge part of my life for a very long time, and he always has been and always will be my favorite villain in all of fiction. He has done just about every evil thing imaginable: murder, torture, even nuking a whole city in the Injustice universe. I've always been fascinated with this character. Just like Batman, he is not a person. The Joker is an idea, an agent of pure chaos. And to think, it all started with one bad day. So with that being said, I have one question. You want to know how I got these scars? That's a terrible. I'm sorry. I tried. But right there, everybody.
That's 2 books sold to members of the community by
I know.
Bricksco
Well
Comics.
done, Bricksco. Well done.
Shout out my boy
well.
Paul. Yeah.
I do have to say that right there, it pulls at the heartstrings. It tells you what that book means to you, what that character means to you. Take note, people. That is a great example of that. All right, moving on. We have Mark Leneker. I do like this book. Joe, let me know. Do you think it's unique? Holy Hanna-Barbera Batman. In my Venn diagram of rarity, condition, price, this was a home run, touchdown, and a 3-point shot all in one. Flintstones on the Rocks, Dell, 1961, their second appearance, and scarce due to the high $1 price point. One grateful owner here. I mean, that's really cool. Second appearance of the Flintstones in comic books. So,
and a very cool cover. And if I'm remembering correctly, this is like a really thick book, like almost pulp sized.
I mean, it's cool. $1, so I guess back in the 50s, maybe 60s.
I think this would have been early 60s, yeah. Because I don't think they were around in the 50s, 60s, yeah.
All right, my turn here. What do we got, Joe? All right,
Energon Universe.
Joe, I'm just gonna spoil this whole thing right now. There's not one Energon Universe book for me today. Not one. This one, again, I stopped by my local comic book shop. And I've been enjoying reading Twilight. I picked up number 3, but I forgot number 4. But I picked up issue number 5, which is an incredible cover. That's the new Hawkeye.
I saw that.
In this dystopian future. And so they had these books outside that they were selling for $1. They never do that. It's All Yeah Comics, by the way, in Harrison, New York. And I'm like, before I did that, I'm like, hey, I missed issue 4. Do you have it? He's like, no, we sold out of it. What do you know? One of those dollar books, I found issue 4.
Nice.
Right now, I'm very happy with that. And it's a cool cover. This is a variant, but I don't care. So anyways, very happy for that. Moving on to you important people. Joe and I are not that important. Well, pretty important. I mean, we run the most popular YouTube show on YouTube. Okay. So you may have heard of it. Comic Book Canon. Moving on, we got Josh's Comics. This is another one that hits home right here, people. Get those tissues ready. Big Trouble in Little China, number 1. The first issue in a series continuing the adventures of Jack Burton from the cult classic John Carpenter film Big Trouble in Little China. This book doesn't just continue the adventures of Jack Burton. It continues my childhood, but more importantly, continues to remind me of my father. This July will be 9 years since I lost him. I have over 21 years of memories, and one of the best memories has been this movie. My father drove trucks like old Jack did, and now I work on them. I have lost count of how many times we watched it, but the shot of them hard turning down to the alley was always a highlight. I not only added a great book to the collection, but I added something that I will always cherish and make me think of my father. This one is for you, Dad. Just remember what old Jack Burton does when the earth quakes and the poison arrows fall from the sky and the pillars of heaven shake. Yeah, Jack Burton just looks that big old storm right square in the eye, and he says, give me your best shot, pal. I can take it. I mean, I have chills right now. And So right there again, that tugs at our heartstrings. So well done right there. Next up, we do have Mon's Comics right here. My submission for this week's Fresh from the Comic Shop. It's no secret that I am basically infatuated with history, particularly when it comes to comic books. In 1954, German-born American psychologist Frederick Wertham published. In 1954, that was a run-on sentence. By the way, I have a larger image for this. We won't do this for everybody, but we need to do it for this. In 1954, German-born American psychologist Frederick Wertham publishes Seduction of the Innocent that warned comic books were a negative form of popular literature and a serious cause of juvenile delinquency. American parents rallied behind this book and caused them to campaign for censorship. A U.S. congressional hearing That was a weird way to say congressional hearing was held. And then when the dust settled, we were left with the Comics Code Authority. The rest, as they say, is history. I've always wanted to own a book that was cited in Wortham's book. And I really wanted it to be either a horror or sci-fi cover, as I've been a fan of those genres since I was a kid. Weird Science number 19 from EC Publishing, 107 on the CGC census, 94 universal grades, 1 signature series, and 12 restored. This is 1 of 6 graded at a 1.5. This amazing cover was done by the great Wally Wood with interior art contributions from Al Williamson, Joe Orlando, Jack Kamen, as well as Wally Wood, with stories from Bill Gaines and Al Feldstein. The CGC label also denotes this book was referenced in Seduction of the Innocents, which is a great tie to its provenance in comic book history. This classic decaying astronaut cover depicts a story adapted from Ray Bradbury, who I also loved to read growing up. I'm honored to be the caretaker of this book and a small piece of comic book history. Unboxing of this gem will drop on this Friday. Everybody should be following Mons Comics. You should be following. And here is a closer look of that classic image in the background right there. And I do believe Mons took off the what's off the label on the left and the right there. So well done. Yeah, this is the best way we could represent it on the show because it was too small in our template slate. Joseph, your second fresh get. What do you got?
How do I follow up that? Oof.
I know. Yeah, but you do have a Seduction of the Innocent book too.
Not that I'm showing tonight.
No.
I have that exact book, actually. I have a lot of them. I'm trying to collect all of them. There's a lot, though. There's over 100. This is, in my opinion, a massively underrated late silver, early bronze, kind of the turn of the era book. One of the best books, one of the best covers in all of the original X-Men run, and one of the last issues before the reprint era, which eventually led to the Claremont era. This is X-Men 64. Ooh. It's got this awesome Capitol building cover. And it also is the first appearance of Sunfire. In my opinion, really, really underrated character. Very cool background. The first Japanese character that they introduced, especially because I feel like this character has like an extra little bit of like significance in the fact that the Japanese were so overwhelmingly portrayed in a negative light in comics due to World War II and the aftermath of World War II. I can't think of a character that was like specifically Japanese that was such a major character and portrayed in, not in this issue in a positive way, but later on, joining the X-Men, fighting alongside the X-Men. This was one of the first characters that I really can think of that did that. And a character that showed up in the animated series in the 90s and has been used over and over again. Great book. I have multiple copies of this. This is just one of many. I have to compare this to my true PC copy and see if this is nicer, and decide which one I'm keeping, but it was a good deal, so I picked it up.
Yeah, I love his costume too. I think he's just a really cool looking character.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wouldn't mind seeing him in the MCU as well. All right, we got, by the way, Puppet Chillytown had a nice zinger of a comment where he said, "How old were you when you found out Knight Rider was a TV show?"
So the story behind that, real quick. Last week, we were at a con. We were at Lehigh Valley Comic Con, and some music was playing, and I commented about the music. I said something. I was like, "What is this video game music? Sonic the Hedgehog or something?" And Mike was like, "This is Knight Rider, dude." And I was like, "I don't know what that is. I still don't know what Knight Rider is. I'm sorry."
Oh my God! Let everybody.
Also, I just want to say I've never seen Big Trouble in Little China either.
Oh my God! All right, listen.
Yeah,
you need to be a fan of the '80s starting now. And
okay.
Puppet Chillytown is a kid of the 80s, I do believe. Here we go. This is why we dig. I love that expression, by the way. I bought exactly one book at Lehigh Valley.
Mike was born in the 80s?
He was a kid in the 80s.
Oh, he was a kid in the 80s. Gotcha.
you're just ruined the whole thing for him. He's gonna be so mad because I was reading his copy here and like I don't know what to do. This is why we dig. I bought exactly one book at Lehigh Valley Con yesterday and spent exactly $1, but it was one off the list of dollar bin grails. When I showed it to Joe and Paul Bond, they looked at me like I had two heads, and then I showed it to Batman expert Josh's Comics, and he had a guess, but it also but also didn't really know what it is. This is the elusive second print newsstand of Robin #1. There are a couple examples of these out there. Most people are aware of Batman 457. Makes sense when you think about it, but why newsstand sellers care about ordering second prints of books they already sold? This book is distinguished by both the Adventure Begins blurb added to the cover for the second print, and then, of course, the barcode. I have a list of about 5 books that I constantly search for in dollar bins, knowing that the first prints are so common. Many dealers toss the very valuable second prints in there without knowing what they are. This is the exact kind of thing that makes the treasure hunt aspect of the hobby so much fun. That's really well said, by the way.
Yeah, and if you haven't done so yet, watch Pope's sermon from this morning. He did a sermon this morning, like he does on many Sunday mornings. The Pope of Chilitown comic sermon. He actually talked about not just that book, but all of the other second print newsstands. I think he said there are 6 total that he, in his research, have found second print newsstands. Go watch his video.
By the way, I wanted to, but he did it too early for my schedule.
Well, you can watch the recap. It's still there.
It's later in the day, man. It's not live. Doesn't make any sense. All right, moving on. We got Bond. Paul Bond. We are not in sync, and it's really upsetting. The last thing I expected today was to get a call about buying a Batman #5. This is now the lowest Batman in my collection, and although not a Joker cover, it does have a Joker appearance inside. Fortunately, I had 2 solid days of sales at the 2 cons I did this weekend, and I was able to add this to my collection. That is a nice book. And I think there's some trade talk going on between you and Paul Bond.
There's some talk. Talk. It's just talk now.
It's my time. It's my time. Second fresh get of the week. Joe, you're gonna like this. I dug through these bins here and found some cool things, right?
Ooh,
stuffs, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
This is the all new Haunted Charlton Comics #8. That's a cool cover for $1.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's not as cool as the one we want.
The Mark Leneker variant.
Yes, but this one is real. It's very cool. I don't think it's a Steve Ditko cover as the other one is, but it's really cool looking art. Anyways, just wanted to show that. That's a little outside the box, not Energon Universe stuff, right?
Yeah, I'm impressed.
Thanks, buddy. Really appreciate that. Next up, we have Nori Jordan. This is really hard to put on here, but as you can see, that's from Godfather 3. I was sleeping well, believing I had finally obtained every Thunderbolts direct copy variant and newsstand available, but some newsstands have popped up that I didn't know existed. I'm both happy and annoyed that there are more Thunderbolt books to hunt down. There doesn't seem to be an accurate means to track all newsstands out there, so I guess I will just get them as I see them. I picked up 4 to add to the collection and another Thunderbolts #1 second print to get my total back to 43. He has 43 Thunderbolts #1 second prints. Take care, everyone. That is just wow. It's incredible. Joseph, your third fresh get of the week.
Yeah, my third fresh get of the week. This is a pretty cool one. This is a Golden Age book that I picked up last week at Lehigh Valley Comic Con. This is buying the book, not the grade. I think this is a great example of this. This is War Against Crime #7 from EC Comics. War Against Crime in EC Comics, more known for their horror stuff. This is obviously a crime book, but this is actually one of the titles that became a crime title. So it was War Against Crime up to issue, I believe, 11. Then starting with issue 12, it was retitled Vault of Horror, and it was one of the main 3 horror anthology stories. There was Vault of Horror, Tales from the Crypt, and Haunt of Fear. And in fact, Vault of Horror number 12, which is the first issue, ties Crypt of Terror number 17 as the first ever horror comic from EC. They both came out the same week. The first ever horror title, I should say, because they had horror stories prior to that, but actual horror titles. So this is War Against Crime. This is pre Vault of Horror. This is issue 7, and the guy had it on his wall for $125, and I thought, this is pretty decent price for a Golden Age book. I asked if I could look at it, and I instantly, when he handed it to me, I was like, this feels a little light. Opened it up. In fact, I was right. It is missing the centerfold. And I said, hey, man, this book's incomplete. Like, I hate to tell you this. And we even looked up like the page numbers and stuff. And he was like, all right, I'll tell you this. I'm into it for $50. If you want to give me $50 for it, I'll take that. And I said, yeah, you know what? It's incomplete. $50 is probably a fair price. I'll grab it, buy the book, not the grade. And, it presents great. Looks like a, solid like 4045 copy, but, it's a 0.5 because it's missing the centerfold. And eventually I'll upgrade it. Great to have in my collection, though.
It's a very cool book. And I knew you'd have a banger of a book. I don't like saying banger, but I didn't know what else to say. And finally, we have Mike Hagg's 77. This is not only fresh from the comic shop for him, it's also submission in something called Fire Cover Friday, hosted by his guy, the Collective 01. Don't forget the fire emoji foil cover Friday as well, because you all know it's foil mania up in my comic book room. Going with this Panther foil variant done by Perillo. I put up the charity donation totally by accident. I dozed off because I was so damn tired mid-typing, and I don't know how I chose this charity. Total freak accident. I don't understand the story, but entirely appropriate since my son is autistic and nonverbal. So it does. Hello. So it does. My fiance's down here.
Woo!
Hey. Hold on. So it does hold a special place in my heart. On top of that, April's Autism Awareness Month. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you to the generous people who donated. So that is very well done right there. How's it going? I always get an audience here. This is how popular we are. Now people want to be a live audience participant. So
lining up.
Are you enjoying the show?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Very much. I love them all.
Thanks. People are saying congratulations to us.
Thank you.
She said thank you. She means it. All right. My last fresh get of the week. My phone's about to die, by the way, and I don't know what we're going to do for a camera, but is this right here, Joseph. Again, another $1 book pickup. This is Walt Disney's Donald Duck number 42, a 10-cent book, right?
That looks pretty sharp, too. Still got gloss on the cover.
Yeah, man. So I was like, I got to do it. So I did. And here we are. I'm a weirdo. It's from 1955. It smells like it, too. Oh, no, they won't see you. They want to see you.
Oh my God.
You're good. Sorry, guys. My fiance, everybody. Alicia. They're all giving you a round of applause. All right. Here we go, Joe. We are at the end of the show.
Yes.
We are at I am so distracted right now.
We got to pick a winner.
I got 2 that stick out for me, though. 2 books, Joseph.
A lot stick out to me. Unfortunately, a lot of those people are not.
That's why 2 stick out to me. By
right.
the way.
So let me go first.
Oh, look at that.
What just happened?
With iPhone.
What just happened? Wait, does that work when I do it too?
No, you don't have. You're not using your iPhone. That's why.
Here, I'll use my iPhone.
No, it's not working that way.
Is that how you do it? Use your iPhone.
You do also thumbs up, and a thumbs up bubble pops up. There it is, right there. You see the thumbs up bubble?
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. I have 2. Are you going first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Josh's Comics.
That was right.
Josh's Comics.
Right?
Josh's Comics, honestly, he checked all 3 boxes here. This is a well-composed shot. We got this kind of scene from the movie in the foreground with the book kind of looming in the background at like a really cool positioning, like almost like it's like a building in the background that's kind of like at a weird perspective looking up at that building. I really like it. And then obviously a unique book, you know, I assume this is an indie title. I can't see a publisher on it, but
I think it is indie. I can't remember.
Yeah, I would assume so. I don't see Marvel or DC on it,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna assume that it's indie because they're usually pretty prominent. And then, you know, I've never seen this book before. And in addition to that, it definitely pulled the heartstrings. You know,
that's the one
weight of
that
the story. Yeah.
that right there. That's what completely did it for me. Josh has been great with well composed shots, having fun with it, but what it meant to him hit home. It again, I got chills after reading it. So I'll tell you what my second one is, and that is Danny from Earth 616.
Yeah.
About what the Joker means to him, about this book. Again, it was one that really pulled at the heartstrings.
Yeah, definitely. This was awesome shot here with the book, you know, up on that pretty cool looking stand there with the little metal legs and stuff next to a Joker statue. Just one of the most iconic covers ever. This definitely checks some of the boxes too, but I will say Josh's checks all the boxes.
Yeah, well, here's the deal. We're going to bring the judge in because you and I need to decide. Wait, did you have another one? Hello, judge, by the way.
No, I did not have another one that was someone that was still eligible. A couple people that won, like, you know, shout out to both Dr. Plagueis and Mons Comics. Both great submissions, but you already won. We got to spread the wealth here.
Yeah, so I agree with that too. For me, I have to go with Josh's Comics.
I agree.
Do you agree?
It's unanimous. I don't need to intervene here.
Judge, please let me get to the paperwork, Judge.
Got it. It's coming in right now. All right. Okay, everything looks in order here. Congratulations, Josh's Comics. You are the winner of this week. Case dismissed.
Moving on to the semifinals. You'll battle whoever's the semifinalist next week. Josh, that was one of your best submissions ever. Really well done. And thank you for sharing that story with us too, about what it meant. So it's very sentimental. I just have to address one thing. Pope of Chilitown. Jeff is your fiance. He used quotes. Fiance in the room with you right now. No, she lives in Alaska. You've never met her before, and you probably never will, but she's hot. You know what I mean? So, yeah. No big deal.
I talk to her on the internet like 6 to 8 hours a day.
Yeah. No, it's no big deal, you know, but you'll never meet her. It's no big deal. But, yeah, she's real. She's real. Anyways, my phone's about to die, so we got to cut this thing short. But again, great to be back. Don't like being away from you people, but sometimes you got to do it. Thank you to the judge, as always. I mean, why are we thanking you? We pay you a lot of money, but thank you, though.
Should still show appreciation, please.
Yeah, you're right. You're the judge, Your Honor. I apologize. Joseph, give some nice pleasantries.
Yeah. So, like we mentioned before.
Wait. Okay, you're going to do it.
I'm going to do it. Yeah. Like we mentioned before, Back Deck Comic Fest is at my house next weekend. This is not just a comic book sale. This is a comic book community hangout. So come out, look at some awesome books, maybe pick some things up, eat some free food, drink some free beverages, and just chat about comics. We're going from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Make sure you look out for weather delays just in case. I will have to find a rain date if it does rain, but let's hope for some good weather. Again, this is in the Philly suburbs, so right outside of, just north of Philadelphia, basically driving distance if you're in Jersey or Delaware, Maryland, or even southern New York. Reasonable amount of time to get there. But yeah, please come hang out. It's going to be a great time, like it always has been. This is the 6th one that we've done in the last 3 years. This is the first one of 2024, and yeah, a lot of people going to be there. And that's
I'd
all
like
I
to
have say about
announce
that.
I myself and my fiance will be there. I will be signing autographs, though. I will be charging
Woo!
Wow.
$25 an autograph. I have a whole big table, and
Okay.
you'll have my headshot.
Heck yeah.
So we will be there. But it's going to be a blast. Seriously, it's always fun getting everybody together and just joking around, talking about comics, checking out comics, buying comics, et cetera, et cetera. And yes, Josh, I will hug and kiss you as well, as long as my fiance doesn't get chugged. But again, I appreciate this community so much. I love doing the show every week. It really is a nice way to connect, but also get away from real life things. So I appreciate all of you. Anybody needs to talk about anything, comics or otherwise, please hit us up. We are all ears, and we do love you. Until next week, right, guys? Judge, you good?
I'm always good, sir.
Okay, wash that wig, please. Okay.
Hey, I have lots of legal power. You got to kind of.
You're right.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely.
Don't make me pull some strings, okay?
No, don't want to do that. Anyways, ending the show. Until next week, be good to yourselves, be good to others. Peace.